is how I like it. This is, you know, how I like it right here. What's up? All good. Thanks. I mean, it's similar to all seasons. I think just when you're in a position to win a tournament, it just takes a little bit more out of you than if you're going to finish, you know, have a really good week and finish in the, you know, top 10 or top 15. You're just, I don't know, you know, those back nines feel really long and they're really important, and you feel like you're kind of living and dying by every shot. So it just takes a little bit more out of you and makes you appreciate, you know, what you're doing and all the people around you helping you get there.
You know, when athletes win or they're on an extreme, they have more confidence. But in fact, how does it help you when you go to
Sorry?
how the confidence factor helps you when you have this confidence?
Yeah, confidence always helps. I mean, golf is a tricky one. You know, there's a lot of times where you see guys missing, you know, 6, 7, 8, 9 cuts in a row, and then all of a sudden they win a golf tournament. So then you talk to them, and they'll tell you they found something small in the range, or you know, they talked to their mental coach and gave them a nice little nugget there to sort of get them through the week. And it can go both ways. You know, you can be on top of the world and then start playing really poorly, and then you have to sort of address why with your team and get back in shape. So I think being consistent is really hard, and there's a lot of swings in the game of golf for sure. I mean, a lot of the guys are really funny. I just we're so used to competing against each other, and that locker room is. I think that this team is really close. The teams that fortunately for me, the teams that I've been on have been really close. There's been pretty much zero turmoil, and I feel like it's important for us to kind of, when we're in that locker room together, enjoy some laughs together. Stuff we're not able to do all the time, you know, at normal tournaments. So. Maybe I take it upon myself to make sure everyone's having a good time and laughing and sort of relaxed.
What's your go-to? Is it verbal needle? Is it physical humor?
Just, you know, some sort of mental abuse, probably.
A few quick ones about your teammates. Is there a golf swing on your team that you are jealous of?
Not really. No. I think all the guys... Everyone on this team is, you know, they play golf in their own unique way, and whether they're the straightest guy or the longest guy or can shape it the best, everyone has their strengths and their weaknesses, and you know, it's up to our captains to make sure, you know, they pair us up nicely to complement each other.
Would you at least want to pass the aux cord to
Oh. I'm good to hum a song in my head by myself, so that stuff doesn't really bother me.
And you would be most likely to be late on your team?
Myself, probably. I've been pushing it this week, showing up, you know, right on the button. There's a good thing there aren't any seconds on that clock, because I probably would have been late at least once or twice.
What about other nominations for if you're the clown? What's the role of someone else or other guys?
I wouldn't call myself a clown. My goodness. It's a little rude, don't you think?
That's them that said it.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, but like, each individual has a role. Like, you nominate someone else for other roles, and certain guys bring it down, others are energy lifters.
I think it's been pretty cohesive. You know, everyone's in passing. Everyone's, you know, everything's been uplifting. You know, there hasn't been any sort of quiet moment, or when guys need to rest, they rest. When they need to talk, they talk. When they need to strategize, they do that. It's been an awesome group to be around, and so far, you know, we've had plenty of laughs and we've been having a really good time. Yeah, I say they're just different. There's very different holes compared to the rest of the golf course. I feel. I mean, the last 2 days have been really windy, so what was no wind, you're like, oh, you know, you can hit driver, you know, wedge, gap wedge, sand wedge on a few holes, even lob wedge, and then a lot of these holes are crosswinds, and all of a sudden, you know, you're hitting a dogleg left with a left-to-right wind, or vice versa, and these par threes you're hitting 4 and 5 iron into. So these last 2 days I thought played very, very difficult, and I'd be curious to see how it plays out throughout the week. You know, this variable wind has seemingly been 10 to 15 miles an hour, which will make any golf course pretty hard. That question's a bit of a grenade, to be honest. You know, I think there's no place for a player to you know, talk about prize money in this sort of event. That's for other people to decide. You know, our preference is our preference, and we're here and we're happy to play amongst each other and represent our country. So it's a hot topic, but I think it's pretty brutal to ask any player that, because there's no right answer a player can give you. I absolutely do not feel bad for Adam Scott. I like Adam Scott a lot, but I do not feel bad for him at all. I don't think any male out there feels bad for Adam Scott. He's yeah. I mean, no. For me, I'm stubborn, and the more I get knocked down, the harder I push back up. So if I lost 10 times in a row, I'd be coming back chomping at the bit, even harder than ever. So I'm sure that's what they're doing. Absolutely, yeah, for sure. You know, I feel even whistling when we're vibing. You know, it was sort of, I went out first against Rory and got smoked. And to me, it's sort of, you're going out to set the tone, and you're going out to sort of send a message down that board to the rest of your team. You can't be with your teammates when you're playing individuals, but you can really send a message to your team. And I always draw motivation from looking at that board, especially in these team events. And we won big there, but it's probably why I got so drunk and started smoking early, because I was so mad at myself for not, you know, we won, and it made me feel better in the end. And of course I forgot about it. But like, even in a spot like that, when you win, you still feel responsible for not doing your part. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and then you go to a losing side. Yeah, I felt terrible. You know, I was putting well all year, and there's moments when you're playing these things where you sort of feel the moment growing, and you feel like you need to rise to the occasion. And there were several moments late in the day where I was playing with Pat, and Pat we were both kind of struggling, and then he would pick up the slack. He started hitting all these irons super close. And I just started missing all these short putts, you know, 16, 17 were really big putts to swing in our match, and I wasn't able to make them. I was trying my hardest, and I felt terrible. I didn't apologize because I was trying my hardest, but at the same time, that cart ride back to the clubhouse sucked. In this kind of event? Yeah, I mean, of course. This is a team thing, so whenever I'm playing out there and doing well or struggling, it's kind of all on you. Obviously, you look out for your own team members that you're with or that you employ, and that's how you feel when you're out on the road. And when you're out here, you think about your teammates a lot. When you miss a putt, you don't really think about yourself. You think about, shoot, I'm messing up for my team right now. So you draw confidence from achieving sort of career goals, but for the most part, this team dynamic's very different.
How do you manage that? You miss a putt, it's not only you, it's on the team. Are you seeing sorry?
I got a rule. I don't really apologize. If someone apologizes to me, that means they're not trying their hardest, and that's all I can ever ask from any of my teammates is that they're trying their hardest. So I don't ever expect to hear an apology from one of my teammates when I'm playing with them.
Do you feel like you've stepped into some sort of leadership role in this team?
Not really, to be honest. I guess I'm sort of, makes me feel really old, but I guess I'm sort of one of the veterans on the team, playing in more cups than most. And if anyone, I think I've definitely been I pick on so many people in our group that they feel comfortable enough to come and talk to me about anything. So if there's any guy that ever wants to ask me something, I'll be happy to share anything I can with them to make them feel more comfortable themselves. My whole career has been sort of let your clubs talk, and that's sort of been my motto and how I ride, and that's sort of my goal here. If I can collect as many points as possible and lead by example, I think we'll be in a good place. Yeah. Well, Brant's not the sharpest tool in the shed. My name is Alexander on my passport and my ID. I was just curious as to what Brant thought my name was, you know what I mean? Xander from Alexander seems pretty, common, so. Brant has. I have a lot of false confidence at times and bet on myself a little too heavily. DraftKings or anyone else would be very upset with my betting ability because I don't think 30-yard bunker shot to 4 feet, even money is a very good bet.
Just on that, man, they also said you've been the leader of the in-team profit market. Can you run us through how?
I've actually never even sports bet my entire life. I don't know, it's making me sound like a degenerate here.
In this environment, you're also leading the charge. What sort of things have you got for teams competing against each other?
All the boys are good at it. Everyone's playing little games here and there. I think there's only a few ways to sharpen up. Our team didn't play a lot. We only had 2 guys in Napa, so I think it's super important to have our teammates competing. And if you can get 1 putt in 9 holes, that means something that pisses you off any day of the week. I think it's a good thing. It's the only thing that can replicate any sort of pressure when you're playing against the other side. So everyone, but I don't even need to say anything. Everyone's ready to gamble when you get to that first tee.
You look at 2019, that was your first team. I feel like when we get to these team events, it feels like the team that currently exists is going to be the team. There's only 3 guys here that were on that team. Does that feel like yesterday or forever ago?
It feels like quite some time ago. I would bet a lot of, not that I do gamble, but I would bet a lot of money that you'd see a lot of people from that 19 team back on a team again. I just think there's sort of a new guard, I guess, coming up on the U.S. side, and not every great player can make a team, but year in, year out, there's going to be some fluctuation. So
Do golfers have to be selfish to be really good?
I think so. That's what at least I tell my wife that. I don't know if she's a hugest fan of that, but I'm pretty selfish. Selfish to yourself. I think the captains do a really good job. All of us need to sort of do what we normally do, and there's a lot of stuff that that we don't normally do during an individual week that we do during a team week, whether it's sort of the timed dinners or photos or a gala or you name it. So the captains have done an incredible job. The supporting staff on tour here has done an incredible job making sure that we can do what we need to do to get ready and compete like a normal week.
Enjoy the gala?
You know me, man, totally.
Xander, what's the difference in how you feel emotionally winning the track when you Scottish Open compared to present time with
I think there's more. My brain is quick to once I do something, I'm sort of quick to put it away and move on to the next thing. I think when you're surrounded by, we have 70-ish people here on the U.S. side, or at least pulling for us in this, in this foreign territory here, and everyone's fired up. Our team room everybody's happy, and I think being around so many happy people after a win is always a fun thing, and it's sort of you feel like you've really won when you win a tournament on an individual week. Often you're doing press for 3 hours after signing stuff, then you get on a plane and you go to the next tournament, and you're on the range the next day, and you feel great. People come up and congratulate you or happy for you. That's all warm and fuzzy, but you're going to tee off in 3 days to try and compete in a new tournament on new grass and a new golf course in a new state. So often you don't really get to enjoy it as much, and when you win as a team, it's much more special. I will be at my brother's wedding next week. I'm too young to think about that. You know, I think I would, if I was the captain, I would definitely fight. There's so much stuff that goes into it. It's easy to make a comment as a player on what we should or shouldn't do, and there's a lot that goes into it to make a lot of certain, you know, sponsors happy, the people happy, all those things. And without a certain support group, you know, we wouldn't have a tournament. So it's easy to speak from this side of the microphone. But yeah, I have no intention to be a captain at all right now. I'm very content in competing for points myself. Winning President's Cups. I mean, it feels pretty even to me. You know, I've played. This is my third President's Cup. We've won 2 of them. So the other 12, I guess, I had nothing to do with. You know, I just you know, I'm American, so I can be proud of the guys who won all those cups. But for me, it's been 2, and my Ryder Cup record's 1-1. So it doesn't feel too dissimilar. I kind of look at them the same. You know, I have my guys, they have their guys, and we go to battle, and that's about it. So I don't really have this drag on history that everyone else feels. I'm just too young for it. Yeah, I mean, it's just the media, really. You know, there's no. If you look at the top 25 guys on our list, you know, and Captain picks Max, I don't think any of those 25 guys are sitting there like, oh, you know what I mean? It's just the people around it that are like that. You know, we know with Max in the room how strong we are, and you look at his record and you look at how he fired up our team at Quail. It's a bit of a no-brainer in my opinion. So Max is, you know, honestly more of an introvert. You know, I think he's very much an extrovert when he's doing Twitter and ragging on people, but he's definitely a lead by example kind of guy. That in Italy, I mean, we were catching strays the entire week, and Max was sort of our knight in shining armor, giving us some hope. You know, Pat made that huge putt in the dark there on 18, but other than that, you look at the big point getter. There was Max. You know, Max and Brian were pushing really hard on sort of a, you know, I said you get that motivation looking at that board. They were sort of our beacon there. They were like one of the only guys that were winning their matches, and you know, we all look at that and we're like, dang, we need to do it for them. So Max is that kind of guy where he's going to lead by example and get points up on the board. I don't know about the loving part, but I just like to have a good time. I like to pick on guys. I like to see how they react. There's a few guys in the room that I don't know that well, and it's been awesome to getting to know them a little bit more. And you know, I've played with Russ a bunch, but I don't really know Russ. You know, Russ and his wife Teal they're super nice. You know, and Russ is already. You know, I've learned a few things about Russ, which is an incredible thing. You know, I don't need to reveal them here, but it makes me excited to compete alongside him. You know, and played with Sah a lot. Sahith. Him and Juju are great. You know, they're the fun addition to the team room. He's done some funny stuff too that's absolutely cracked me up. More stuff I can't reveal here. So it's been really cool to get to know them and share the room with them, and it being their first go around. You know, it's such a fun experience to be a part of. For sure. Yeah, I mean, I think, absolutely. I'm so spoiled to be able to sort of be on a lot of these teams since my pro career, and it's definitely something I cherish. It's something that I get giddy about. Just being out here with the guys is a ton of fun. You know, it was 3 weeks ago we were playing at Eastlake, and I couldn't have been more over golf at that point. Walking off that 18th green. just wanting to not touch clubs for a month, and knowing that I needed to compete and get in shape for this, it was a bit of a drag coming back. But as soon as I started golfing again, and as soon as our group chats got going, and all those things, and then as soon as you get on the grounds with the boys, it's so fun, and it's such a just truly a fun experience. It's something I never even really imagined when I was wanting to be a pro golfer. Yeah, Tony just said he's going to put a big X in his yardage book. I mean, it's thick. There's certain spots. You can just tell no one even chipped out of it. So there are some spots on the property where it's just like any sort of, I guess, old school golf course. It's been around so long, there's just different kinds of grass. It's not super uniform. So you can get a decent lie, you can get a terrible lie. Just need to make sure you're on the correct side of the hole.
What's been the most surprising result in your 3 days of golfing?
In my
3 days of the side bets, what's been the most surprising result?
Surprising, me losing to Sned's not that surprising, knowing myself. Nothing really. A lot of back and forth. I think everyone's probably close to even. Everyone's drawing a little blood, giving a little blood. Just all in good fun.
What specifically did Sned's beat you?
Oh, just a bunch of side bets against myself.
You can't give any example.
Just imagine the most degenerate prop bets you can think of, with the 0 odds, basically. That's the kind of guy Sned's is.
Xander, you said you don't want to be a captain, but kind of rumblings now is you're taking on a leadership role within the team. Is that something you brought on yourself?
I don't know why everyone keeps saying that.
The other guys are saying that.
Maybe I just won't. I just don't shut up. I just keep talking, so everyone thinks I'm the one trying to lead the way. Like I said, I like playing golf when I'm laughing and having a good time, and I think these team things are more than anything supposed to be a lot of fun. So I take that upon myself.
You built your career early on being an underdog, right? So putting that on yourself. So what are the advantages of being an underdog?
You're always punching up. I still feel that way with Scotty as number one, now my teammate, which is really nice. You're always just chip on the shoulder. You're always punching up. You're always looking up. You always feel like you have so much work to do, and you're never really content. And I think that's the biggest benefit to being an underdog. You're always trying to work harder to get better.
What about the other side? What are the advantages of being a favourite? You guys are favourites.
Knowing that you've done it before, I guess. I mean, I don't really look at it. I pretty much try to look through a lens of being an underdog all the time. You hear Scotty, one of the winningest seasons ever in Xander Schauffele. He always talked about his process and always talked about not being the favorite, just talking about worrying about what he can worry about. And there's a lot of that going on in this team.
All right, guys. Xander, thank you.
Thank you.